Business Lab.
Welcome, listeners, to the Business Lab. I'm very excited because our guest for today is Mustaffa Kamal. Right? We're very happy that we have our venue sponsor, Craft by 3, and of course, our sponsor for the magical equipment you have here, right? Studio 5 Corp. Mustaffa, welcome.
Thank you for
Awesome.
having me. It's a privilege and honor to be here.
It is. For those of you who don't already know who Mustaffa is the founder and CEO of the Black Hole Group, a collective of lifestyle brands such as Working Title, Tipo, and The Great Mischief. Without experience and investment, he has grown the group from an independent hipster hostel to a multi-million-dollar outfit. Wow. Amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, thank God. Mustaffa, I think the last time when we met, I remember, I think we had a nice walk. We had conversations on Instagram as well. Today, our viewers are probably either startups or someone that has already started a business and they're a bit more advanced. Right? So our topic for today is networking. Right?
Networking.
So when we talk about networking, it brings a lot of access. Right? So I think what I want to start off with is, what were some of the things that you did when you first started your business to grow it when it comes to networking?
To be really honest, right, Sofian, if I were to cast my mind back all the way 11 years ago, really there wasn't enough time for me to do any networking. My hands were just pretty busy with just keeping the business running. Making sure things happen, making sure the payrolls are paid, making sure the food's made, making sure the beds are prepared. But in retrospect, that was my networking. Because in my first business, I actually ran what I already don't have today, but it's called Shop House, a social hostel. So we ran a hostel and we had 62 beds, 5 stories, 62 beds, and we had a nice rooftop, where we serve breakfast and when the guests hang out at the start of the day to eat breakfast, or at the end of the night where they're done with visiting Singapore, right? And then they just want to chill out. So that's where I spent a lot of time with the guests, interacting with guests from all over the world and picking up wisdoms that I couldn't have picked up in school.
Wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom.
Okay, so you're saying that the hostel and the experience of running the hostel itself is a form of networking.
It is a form, yeah. I think because when people talk about networking these days, it's, the first thing that comes to mind is an event in a ballroom or in a convention center, and then people come together, and then you come in suits, and then you have your business cards. You have your digital QR code and say, hey, can you please scan? And this and this, and then it's like speed dating. You're meeting 100 people.
Wow.
But when I ran the hostel, when I was busy working 18 hours a day running the hostel and the cafe as well, Working Title, I met people day in, day out, and we developed authentic conversations and asking them where you're from. My very first guest at the hostel, you won't believe it, my very first guest on the hostel was from Palestine. I had a wager with my partner. I said, okay, first guest from where? I said Germany, he said Australia. Both of us were wrong. First guest that turned up from Agoda was from Palestine. I was like, how can it be? Anyway, first guest got talking, and then you listen to stories from how was it growing up in Palestine? Why did you come to Singapore? And then not only him, obviously I had thousands and thousands of guests after that, and you learn stories and you network. And some of these friends that I've made over the years are still my friends today.
Friends
so today,
from just people visited and become friends.
Exactly.
Wow.
I remember quite vividly, I spent 2 weeks in Russia, in Moscow 1 week, in St. Petersburg 1 week, didn't pay a single cent for accommodation. Because
Tell
friends.
us more.
Because friends.
Come on, viewers, we're not satisfied with just that answer.
Because of networking in the hostel.
Wow. Okay. So what if I'm shy to speak to strangers? Like, it sounds like you're someone that's open to be speaking to someone new. What if the person is shy?
I think.
What would you say?
I mean, I know it doesn't look like it, but I consider myself quite a shy fella.
Really?
Yeah, very shy.
Okay.
But I think if you approach the conversation with openness, with authenticity, you don't have to come in with an agenda. Okay, this guy is a podcaster, so I want to go and say hi to him because one day I want to be on his podcast. Then you have different intentions. You should just be open and try to get to know another person's story and perspective. And my philosophy on networking is to be organic. If something develops out of it, then great. Then one day you're on a podcast. But if nothing develops, then you gain a story, you gain perspective.
It sounds like what you're telling the viewers is focus on authenticity, being genuine, focus on building a relationship that you find meaning in.
You have summed it up like a professional.
I hope so. I'm just checking if I got the right answer.
Correct. So far, so good, Sofian.
Well, whenever we speak, there's always a lot of wisdom to gain from you, and I think you travel a lot as well. So when it comes to networking, I think a common issue, which is what you mentioned, is that it can seem a little bit plastic. Hey, my LinkedIn is your LinkedIn. Why do you think people fall into that trap? What's a common mistake that people make?
The common I mean, it's not to say that kind of networking is wrong, because sometimes you have convention. For example, for the food industry, we have conventions surrounding food, and then you go there to meet people who sell certain equipment or certain kind of products or certain kind of meat products or coffee products. So I think that kind of networking is kind of niche, and it puts you in the right place to connect with the right people. But what I'm saying is that we should broaden our idea of what networking is. It shouldn't some sort of networking is a bit more curated, so that it can be more efficient. But some sort of networking, you shouldn't expect anything out of it. It should just be broad, and it's a matter of gaining perspective and hopefully wisdom.
Perspective and wisdom and broad. Right. I've heard some people say that when you want to meet business owners or people, it's good to go and give value or be someone that has something to give. What are your thoughts on that? Versus focusing on like, I want something from someone.
It is true. It is. I mean, I can't speak for other business owners, but I speak for myself. I think it is true, but also we have to kind of look and define at what giving value is. For me, giving value is not necessarily a material value. Giving value could be you want to speak to me and you want my time for advice. All I ask of you is your passion and your commitment to try to make this work. So in fact, in a couple of months, I'll be involved in an event, in NUS, entrepreneurship event. So I asked the organizer, I'm going to be spending 3 days mentoring this event. How do I know that the team that I'm mentoring is committed to the cause and they will follow through? Or will you get dodgy applicants who's just applying for fun and then I'm there for 3 days? So the value that the person should bring to the table is not necessarily money or perhaps not even time. Sometimes what I value is commitment. The commitment to finish off what you started.
That commitment, that seriousness.
Yeah. So, but my point is that value, we shouldn't limit it to just money or time or sweat equity. Or it should be sometimes be immeasurable, or something that you cannot measure.
Sounds like the intangibles.
The intangibles.
The things that you can't see.
Yeah. Sometimes the intangibles are the ones that matter, right? Yeah, the ones that you see are the ones that delude you into thinking that everything is all right, and then there is the ones that you don't see, the driving force behind it. Love and the passion and the compassion.
Yeah, passion. Yeah? I love that. That's amazing. And I think it's an important topic. I think I resonate with that. And I think a lot of the viewers would want to know, like, if let's say you wanted to network with people, what would be your advice now, knowing what you know now?
I mean, running a business, obviously I meet a lot of people. And you come to a place like Singapore, everybody is eloquent, everybody is well-spoken, everybody is educated. And it becomes, in a way, homogeneous, you know. Yeah. What's your value proposition? You're just another person with a degree who speaks well. What do you bring to the table? So my personal advice to people is focus on your adab, your character and your comportment, and that for me is what makes a person stand out. Yeah, you can have you can have all the information and knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to carry yourself, you don't know how to smile, if you don't know how to make people feel at ease, and you don't know how to make people feel confident in you, then all your knowledge and information is just replaceable by another person, another smarter person.
It sounds like it's very much your internal state that matters.
Your internal state, for me, the character and comportment.
The adab. Comportment.
That's a good
comport.
I don't know, right?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I can't find a better translation for
Sure.
adab, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a Muslim viewer, I imagine you know what adab is.
Yeah, putting things in the right place.
Yeah. In fact, there is a very famous anecdote. In case I get it wrong, right? I won't mention names, but there is a young boy who kind of got a scholarship, you know, with this very famous scholar that we all know about. And then the first day of the education, the mother told this young boy, before you learn anything from this imam, before you learn any knowledge that you want to pick up, right, learn about his character, learn about how he conduct himself, and then you can learn about his knowledge. Because without the adab, right, all the knowledge is for nothing.
Wow. Without adab, everything is nothing.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, it's Imam Shafi'i and his
Inshallah.
teacher, Imam Malik.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Why do you think it's so important though? Why is that such a crucial part of not just networking, but in business and life?
I mean, all you have to do is just look around, right? What's happening in the world? Look, the leaders of the leaders of countries around the world they're not stupid people. They are really smart people. You look at Boris Johnson from UK. These people graduated from top universities in the world, but they are, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but you know, you got to really question your moral compass, and in fact, having that knowledge without that moral compass and the adab, right, it puts you in an even more dangerous position because you are so capable of doing so much harm, and you can manipulate others into believing every single word that comes out of your mouth because you are smart, you're eloquent, you come from good pedigree, you are credible. What's not to believe? And you're rich. What's not to believe about you? But then you use it to your own gains and to your own advantage and agenda. So that's dangerous, right? But then again, I think everything in life can be good or dangerous. Like nuclear can be used to power and provide so much energy, but at the same time, put it in the wrong hands, one can only imagine what can happen, right?
I remember one of the scholars mentioned that if you give a child a knife, it's dangerous. But it's a tool that you can use to cook, it's a tool to use to cut. But in the hands of someone that's a child or a grown-up child, then it's dangerous. That's what it reminds me of.
And I think that also goes back to character. Because if you give a lighter or a pen or something harmful to a kid, this kid hasn't developed that character to discern what is good and what is bad. And I think in Fitrah we also believe that the kid naturally kind of knows what is good for him and what is harmful for him.
Yeah.
But then again, it hasn't fully developed yet. And yeah, I mean, even given not only to a kid, like a knife, you give it to an adult, you give it to the wrong person, he'll use it to go and take someone hostage and say, give me your money, right?
I love how this conversation went from networking to knife usage.
But I think it's linked back, right? So when you talk about networking, imagine if I only have 20 minutes to meet you, 50 minutes to meet you. You dress so well, you smell good, you're good looking, you speak so well, everything I need from you know. Then you are deluding me into believing that you are a credible person for me to work with. But actually, you hide something insidious inside. You have a different agenda. Yeah. So I think, so our insurance and our protection for me is back again to adapt your character and comportment.
It's beautiful. Adapt and comportment.
That's
and
right.
I love the fact that you said you must learn how to smile. I picked that out. Yeah. There's this kind of smile called a Duquesne smile, where you smile, it's that sincere, like really smile, and like when you smile, it's just exactly versus the smile that's just like hi, you know what I mean? Yeah. And adab, putting things in the right place. What do you think the future of networking, especially in the F&B industry, is going to be like? How do you see it evolving?
Wow, I think that networking again. We're speaking about networking not necessarily in a curated, manicured form, but can also be very organic. But I think it's essential. We live in a world where you cannot just stand alone and do something on your own without networking and collaborating. In fact, the reason why we're here today is a result of a collaboration, right,
That's
between
true.
SMCCI,
Yeah.
Craft by Tree, and the studio. And even for my team at the Black Hole Group, we make it a point to not work in our silo. We collaborate intra-company, department, cross-department. So just to give you an example, within the company, we have the HR department, and we have the ops department, and we have finance department, and we have our marketing department. We call it BAM, Branding, Advertising, Marketing. But we also have like cross department committees like BOPs, meaning branding, BAM, and ops. And then we have FinOps, which is finance and ops. And then we have HROPS, which is HR and ops. And departments, when you're working in silo, right, tend to just think of things from their perspective. But when you collaborate, you realize that, hey, this is my perspective, this is yours, and then we see how we can merge it and reconcile it and get the best out of it. And that, I think, is the value of networking. When you do something and you think that you are doing the best that you can, and then when you network and you get somebody else's perspective. And in my case, if I meet another CEO, I kind of find out, try to find out like this CEO, how does he run the company, what are his best practices, and I think that can be a result of networking.
I'm also very curious because a lot of the conversation has been about starting the conversation. How do you continue that relationship after you've met them?
Wow, that is that is a matter of first of all, when you meet a person, that's when we spoke about what value do you bring to the table, right? Sometimes the value is commitment. Sometimes the value is information that I can share with you, how I run my company, and you want to learn how I run the company. Sometimes the value is just good character and good vibes. That every time I meet you, I feel like, wow, every time I meet you, I walk out of it feeling inspired, and I want to do more. And I think the person connecting, the recipient or the person giving, it should be reciprocal, by the way, right? Should have this in mind that there should be value to the table, but the value wouldn't necessarily be material. It can be what?
Intangible. Comport.
Intangible. Yeah.
Okay, if I'm talking about tangibles then, like we spoke about intangibles, right? What about tangible stuff? What do you think someone can can focus on when it comes to building good business relationships then?
Money. If you are, it really depends, you know. So I think it's about piecing things together.
Yeah.
If I have a brilliant business idea,
okay,
and you are well-to-do, but you have no business ideas, then I think we're kind of a good match, right? I have the business ideas. I'm willing to put in the time and effort. You have money, but you don't have time, and you don't have the idea, and you don't have the resources to push it through. Why don't we continue talking about it and see what develops out of this?
Okay. A lead up to that, what if you found someone that you think might be a great person to collaborate with? How do you know that they're the right person? Like, how do you know that this is a good relationship to proceed with?
So, in my personal experience, right, you meet in the journey of networking, you meet a lot of great people.
Okay.
And you realize that if you meet a person with $1 million, you meet another 10% with $1 million. And that's where your question is, I think, pretty spot on, where it's not necessary that you accept all 10% of the $1 million, you know? Like, one is more suited to you than the other. And that's where you sit down, have coffee, suss out his character, suss out whether you can understand his jokes, suss out whether you can be in a room locked up for an hour. And then you realize that, okay, if I get into this relationship with him, if this business fails, it doesn't matter because that's material. What transcends that is our relationship and our understanding and our chemistry. If that fails, then that's just the what. You know, we can go back to the why we're having this conversation in the first place, and then we can continue building at the what.
The cause, the beliefs, the vision, where are you going?
Between you and me, what is our vision to provide good for the society, to help poor people, to help orphans. And then if we open the first orphan and it fails, so be it. Let's open another one, because at the end of the day, it's the why that drives us forward.
It's amazing because no matter what, the what happens, the why and the causes will push us together still through other opportunities. I think I love that. That's amazing.
Because if not, it will just be a very transactional relationship where, hey, I have this product, I want to sell microphones, you have $10, you put the money, this microphone doesn't work, okay, thank you, we tried. Maybe I see you again, maybe not. But I think networking, for me at least personally, should be Mike, okay, that's great, but between us, what is it that we get along for?
So the
What is it
why
that we
and the
believe
cause and the belief. I love that, and I think that a lot of people can benefit from that.
Yeah. So one other value that I forgot to mention is and this is only, you can only achieve this after try to understand a person for some time, which is trust. And even if you look back at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Before he became a prophet at the age of 40, he was doing business, he was trading, right? What was his nickname? Al-Amin, the person who's the one who is trusted. And that is a commodity that is far, I personally feel, again, far lacking. You have money, you have drive, you have ideas, but can I trust you? Wow. And if I give you the money to start this microphone business, right? And if you fail, is it because you're lousy? Because if it is, it's fine, but I trust you that you will educate yourself and do better in the next business. Then that networking and that communication and engagement can be sustainable.
Amazing. I love how you drew a common thread back to the Prophet ﷺ, which is the essence of it, the reality of Al-Amin, being trustworthy, the trustworthiness. Thank you so much for the gems. As I say, there's so many gems that we can glean from Mustaffa. I think we can go on for hours, but we don't have hours. So thank you so much, Mustaffa, for being a great guest and sharing your wisdom, your gems of wisdom. And I'd like to thank our venue sponsor as well, of course, Craft by 3, and of course our media sponsors, Studio 5 Corp. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do follow us on our social media platforms. Watch us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. Thank you and see you. Bye.
Thank you.